welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my seed starting this spring, some of the mistakes that I made, how I fix those mistakes, and some of the plants that I'm planting out in my veggie garden, like my annual garden and my native plant garden this year. This is not my first year seed starting. I've always seed started before, but due to the volume of seeds I wanted to start this year, I decided to use my own seed starting mix with interesting results. So I started some seeds on my own and I made a mix of pretty much a third compost, a third perlite, and a third coconut coir because I read that online. And when I say compost, I actually use mushroom compost. I think there is a difference. We can talk about that a bit more. But I had pretty poor results. I was getting results like this. This is my kale after about a month. I mean, it's not dead, but it's pretty stunted and it doesn't look amazing. I was doing something wrong. So I actually got Jordan from Mind and Soil. He has a YouTube channel. I will link to the YouTube channel down below. He came out from Squamish, came to Victoria where I live, and helped me out with my seed starting, which I really appreciate. He has a video on his channel of exactly what we did and how he helped me out. And so I will link down in the description box below, and I'll link it here, the video on his channel. So the Mind and Soil seed starting kit that I used comes with an LED grow light tray and the little seedling pots. It comes with packages of the soil starting mix, including the worm castings, a turkey baster for really precise watering, and a thermometer for keeping track of the temperature in your room. So you can see these are the seeds that I started with the Mind and Soil seed starting kit. So it's obviously a significant difference compared to the befores that I was getting of these tiny little guys, you know, and this is the same. If not, some of these are actually been going and growing longer than the Mind and Soil starter kit ones. These kind of speak for themselves. So the idea behind this process is I wanted to use this tried and true kind of seed starting kit to grow alongside my own to see what I may be doing wrong so that I can improve next year. I mean, look at these leaves. So with Jordan, I started a number of seeds. I started collards, I started basil, I started kale. Look at these kale babies. This one I'm really excited about. I started habanero, and I started a native plant, actually a native perennial, prunella, aka self-heal. So I actually wanted to see how this did with some of the perennial native plant seeds, which I'm quite happy with, and a classic. I started sun gold tomatoes, which I'm really excited about. Let's get into some of the things that I think I messed up on after going through the process of using the seed starting kit. Number one would be downplaying the importance of fertilizing the seedlings, because I think the mix that I made didn't have enough nutrients. I've read that when you first start out, when the seed actually germinates, it doesn't necessarily need nutrients, but I'm not the most on it with watching my seedlings, so I didn't actually fertilize until they started looking yellow a little bit of the time, and then they never really recovered too much from that. And the fertilizer I used was a kelp emulsion fertilizer, which I just didn't have really great results with, unfortunately. But having the worm castings built in on Jordan's seedling mix with Mind and Soil was nice because I didn't actually need to worry about, okay, what day am I going to fertilize? I think the fertilization was just way more important than I thought. The second thing I think I really messed up on was the temperature. So a lot of the seedlings that I started in a cold garage, and it's just way too cold for those seedlings to really thrive. They germinated, but they never really took off. And after I realized they were stalled, I moved them inside, but I found they just never really recovered and bounced back that well. So I think starting and then having them inside and maintaining the temperature around 70 degrees Fahrenheit was a pretty significant help with the seedlings that I ended up doing really well. The other mistake I think I made is I was probably pretty off on watering. I found that my seed starting mix didn't hold water very well, so that I was really erratically watering, and it wasn't very consistent and it wasn't very timed right. So having a seed starting mix that actually has that component that holds water is really important. The water just kind of went right through the seedling mix that I made. Another mistake slash theory that I have on why my seedlings did so poorly was because I used mushroom compost instead of regular organic compost. And I'm not an expert on this, so feel free to correct me if you are sure that I'm wrong, but I did a bit of research later about mushroom compost, and it actually has really high salt content in it. And I think it comes from the cattle manure that's in it. And I think the salt content interfered with the growth of these seedlings and potentially inhibited the growth. I just thought it was the same thing as regular compost. So what I have to do today is I am going to start hardening off some of the brassicas, and then I also have all the warm weather seedlings. I have the tomatoes and the basil, which are gonna stay inside, but I am gonna pot them up. But I'm really hoping to get some good results this year because I've never had tomatoes look this good. My tomatoes have always been like half this height. I didn't even start these that long ago. It was about 4 weeks ago. So it's a pretty big difference seeing how tall these ones are. So while I'm certainly not saying that you have to have a seed starting kit and you have to buy this specific kit to get good results with seedlings, it just helped out in my case to have all the kind of choices picked out for me already, to know, you know, follow a proven recipe so I know what I'm actually doing wrong so that I could diagnose the issues that I had with my seeds. I'm looking at maybe creating like a worm farm to see if I can harvest my own worm castings, and still kind of thinking about some ideas. But in the meantime, it's good to at least have this tray of excellent seedlings to get out when the weather is appropriate. And thank you so much for Jordan with Mind and Soil for going through this process with me, providing the seed starting kit, coming out to my garden and helping me out. It's really important to learn from people who have that sort of experience that I don't have. So thanks again for that. Definitely check out his channel, subscribe to his channel, and he has a ton of seed starting videos. I'm not the expert, I'm learning, like probably a lot of you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.